The signal was faint. Older than light, older than any star still burning in the galactic maps. It came from the black edge of the Perseus Rift, where gravity twisted even time into knots. The array that caught it wasn't supposed to find anything. It had listened to the void for 900 years, hearing nothing but the slow dying of galaxies. Then, one night, a single pulse cut through the static. Rhythmic. Deliberate. Intelligent. Every species in the listening network reacted. Entire research fleets were redirected to triangulate it. The signal was unlike anything the archives had seen, structured in repeating sequences, mathematical, but written in a code older than all known civilizations combined. When the timestamp was decoded, it broke the simulations. The transmission was 80,000 years old. Before most of the Council species had even developed language. Before Earth's continents had settled into their modern form. And yet, the signal contained words. Not in any galactic tongue, but in English. It wasn't possible. Humanity had only been part of the Galactic Union for 300 years. The first warp flight was in the year 2478. By all science and record, humanity was young, a newborn species among ancients. But the signal said otherwise. For days, the Council debated. The code carried a human fingerprint, linguistic, phonetic, conceptual. Every attempt to decrypt it only deepened the impossibility. Finally, the message was translated. It contained only coordinates, and a short sentence. To any who find this, return the ship. A task force was assembled. Explorers, scientists, soldiers. And one human. Dr. Ilara Vance, xenolinguist, archaeologist, and survivor of 6 first contact missions. She stood silent as the alien admirals discussed theories, dismissing each in turn. Some claimed it was a prank. Others whispered that humans had stumbled upon forbidden technologies. But Ilara felt something deeper, something that vibrated in her bones like an old memory. The fleet departed within the week, warping through the ink of deep space until stars thinned into black oceans. The coordinates led to a graveyard, an entire system swallowed by debris, the skeletal remains of a world torn apart by forces no one could name. And there, half buried in frozen dust, was the ship. It dwarfed their cruisers, black metal, scarred by eons, its hull inscribed with symbols that matched no known alphabet. And yet, beneath the alien carvings, there were markings unmistakably human. A nameplate. Half-rusted. NSS Odyssey. The analysts laughed. Humanity had never built a vessel like this. The alloy wasn't even from their solar system. Its architecture was pre-warp. And yet the design principles, symmetry, structure, modular seams, were undeniably human. When Ilara saw it, her hands began to shake. She felt something in her mind unlock. A whisper, faint and familiar, as if her ancestors called her by name. The Odyssey wasn't dead. Its reactor still glowed deep within, pulsing every 7 seconds like a heartbeat. The crew sent drones first. The hull resisted scans, but the airlocks responded to human biosignature frequencies. It was as if the ship recognized them. When Ilara stepped inside, the lights turned on, soft, golden, like an old sunrise. No one spoke. Dust drifted like ghostly snow through the halls. The architecture was too large for human proportions, stairways built for giants, corridors arched like cathedrals. Yet, on the control panels, human language blinked back in aged display code, system standby. Crew, lost. Mission, unknown. They found mummified figures inside, not alien, but human. Carbon-dated bones. Human DNA. 80,000 years old. The Council scientists tried to explain it away. Temporal distortion. Genetic mimicry. Parallel evolution. Anything but the truth. But Ilara found something they didn't. At the center of the ship was a chamber sealed by an ancient key. When she touched it, it dissolved into light and revealed a console, its interface written in hybrid script. She activated it. The holographic projector came alive, and a man appeared, uniformed, calm, eyes filled with the distant weight of command. He looked human. Too human. "If you're seeing this," he said, "then my ship has slept long enough." The voice was old, scarred by time. "My name is Captain Isaac Vance. Mission Commander of the Odyssey Initiative, year 2083. We left Sol to find the edge of creation." The air left the chamber. Elara's pulse hammered in her ears. The name, Vance. Her family name. The recording continued. "We thought we'd been gone a few decades. But space changes you. Time folds differently near the rift. We sent signals home, but no one answered. If humanity still exists, remember this, you are not the first to reach the stars. You are what we became." The hologram flickered. Static bled through. "Something followed us. We buried the coordinates for a reason. Don't." The image shattered. The ship groaned, as if awakening. Power surged through its bones. Systems came online one by one, each carrying the same status alert: primary pilot detected. Elara Vance, genetic match confirmed. Her eyes widened. The ship was responding to her. Not because of her name. Because of her blood. The Odyssey recognized her as its captain. The Council fleet panicked. Orders shouted through comms. Containment drones activated. They feared what the humans had found, or what might be waking. But Elara felt only connection. Memory. Purpose. She accessed the final log buried beneath encrypted keys. A single line of data glowed on the main display. Destination, Earth. She whispered into the comm, "This ship is going home." The Council's response was immediate: denial, threats, orders to disengage. The ship ignored them. Thrusters flared, throwing shockwaves through the void. It began to rise, ancient armor shedding dust like ash. And for the first time in 80 millennia, the Odyssey moved again. The fleet tried to restrain it. Energy nets, tractor beams, containment fields. None worked. The ship's hull absorbed every assault, rewriting physics like clay. Elara stood on the bridge, hands on the console, her reflection overlapping the ghostly image of Captain Isaac. In the static between pulses, she heard a voice, calm, ancient, familiar. "Welcome back, Commander." Outside, stars bent. The ship entered a slipstream corridor unknown to any modern chart, a tunnel carved through time itself. The Council ships fell away, their sensors blinded. When the turbulence ended, Elara saw a world she recognized only from history books. Blue oceans. White clouds. Green land. Earth. But not the Earth she'd left. The continents were wrong. Too large, too whole. No cities, no satellites, no lights. The sky was younger. She ran a scan. The results came back impossible. Earth, year 2084. The Odyssey had not traveled through space. It had traveled back. The ship hung above a young Earth, suspended between thunder and light. Clouds churned below, painting storms across oceans that had yet to be charted by any human eye. The readings confirmed it again and again: temporal regression. The Odyssey had bent not just the fabric of space, but of time itself. Elara stood before the panoramic viewport, staring at the blue world. Her mind reeled through the implications. The ship her ancestor had commanded hadn't been lost to deep space, it had fallen backward, through the cosmic fault line of the Perseus Rift. The Odyssey hadn't come from humanity's past. It had created it. The engines cooled to a whisper. Systems stabilized. The AI voice that had greeted her, the echo of Captain Isaac, spoke again. Temporal coordinates locked. Mission parameters, preservation. Continuity. Genesis protocol active. She felt her throat tighten. Genesis, she whispered. The Odyssey pulsed like a living heart. Panels opened across the walls, revealing hundreds of stasis pods, not empty, but occupied. Men and women. Human. Perfectly preserved. Captain Isaac's voice continued, fading in and out through static. The rift took us apart, molecule by molecule, but the ship rebuilt us. It learned to sustain the human pattern. We realized the universe wasn't meant to be observed, it was meant to be seeded. We didn't find the beginning of humanity out there, we brought it here. The realization struck her like gravity collapsing inward. These weren't just the first explorers. They were the origin. The Odyssey's crash would become the myth of humanity's birth. She wasn't a descendant, she was the continuation of the same cycle. The same bloodline, looping through time, carrying forward the memory of an ancient expedition that had never truly ended. The ship began its descent. The atmosphere ignited around them, painting the sky with fire. The hull groaned as flames licked its scars. And yet, inside, there was peace, a stillness, a sense of inevitability. Outside, the young planet roared beneath. Vast forests stretched across untouched continents. Mountain ranges were still forming, their peaks raw and sharp as if freshly carved by the hand of creation itself. The Odyssey came down not as a ruin, but as a falling star. Elara braced herself, feeling the deck tremble under her feet. The ship pierced through the clouds, scattering flocks of ancient birds, creatures that would one day become legends of the past. Impact. The ground split. Shockwaves raced across plains. The ship buried itself deep into the earth, and the light of its engines dimmed into the soil. Silence followed. When Elara awoke, she was lying in a valley of glass. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and ash. Her helmet flickered with low oxygen warnings. The Odyssey was gone, half buried, half dissolved into the terrain. Its systems were melting, breaking down, decomposing into the elemental base matter that would one day feed oceans and skies. She stumbled forward, every step heavier than the last. And then she saw them. The pods had opened. Dozens of figures lay scattered among the wreckage, disoriented, coughing, gasping for air. Humans. Not clones, not echoes, the first of them. She knelt beside one. His eyes opened, wide, fearful, full of wonder. He spoke no language she knew. But the look he gave her, of recognition, of trust, transcended words. The ship's AI whispered in her ear, fading like a dying star. Mission complete. Preserve them. Teach them. Remember who you are. Her tears fell silently into the dust. Above her, the sky cleared, revealing a moon brighter and closer than she remembered. It was new, raw, unscarred. The wind began to blow, carrying seeds from the soil where the Odyssey had burned. She looked at her reflection in the melted glass and saw not a scientist, not an explorer, but something older. Something timeless. The first teacher. The first mother. Humanity wasn't born on Earth. It arrived there. Elara spent her remaining days among them, guiding the first humans through fire, stone, and hunger. She spoke to them of stars and ships and worlds they would one day reclaim. They called her words myths. They built stories around her, stories of the sky fire that brought life, and the woman who walked from it. And when she finally lay beneath that same sky, her last sight was of constellations she knew by name, constellations her descendants would one day rediscover, and return to. A loop unbroken. A story eternal. Millennia later, when the listening arrays first caught a strange signal from the void, it would come encoded in ancient, forgotten English. A voice would whisper through static. To any who find this, return the ship. And the stars would remember. Because time never moved forward for humanity. It always circled back, to the beginning, to the Odyssey, to the first fire that fell from the sky. And so, once more, humanity would rise. Unyielding. Endless. Infinite. And so, the stars learned that humanity was never born, it was inevitable.